It's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, Sebastian Rogers, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to put him up in the corner there. So, haven't put my banner on. Now, I just want to say before I get going, as you know, the lives are the place where I do the waffling. So I'm going to do a little bit of waffle. But also, I just wanted to say I still haven't worked out how to stop the vertical and horizontal streaming at the same time. It's driving me mad. I wish I'd never pushed that button that StreamYard made me push. Oh, yeah. Go into the vertical and live streaming, they said. It'll be great, they said. It's brilliant, excellent, fantastic. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? It invited all the trolls. I had to ban people left, right and centre, and then it resulted in me banning, one of my faithfuls, one of my favourites, David. Anyway, he's back on now. I hope he'll be on here later. I promise. Well, I'll try not to ban him because it was just a chaos. Anyway, I haven't worked out how to stop that yet, but I have written to StreamYard and asked them, please tell me how to get rid of this. I don't want to do the vertical and the horizontal streaming. I just want to do the horizontal streaming. It's easier because everything's in duplicate on my on my board, on my screen, and it's all complicated. And yeah, it invited in all those trolls, didn't it? People that I'd never heard of before. And so just a bit of a warning, it may happen today as well. I'm not going to even mention the trolls. I'm just going to ban them. If I ban you by accident and you're not a troll. Anyway, I've left the Discord open so people can go into the Discord and just I might leave my emails open maybe as well, just in case I ban anybody by accident. Hopefully I won't. But anyway, if you're a regular viewer of my channel and you get banned by accident, you'll know it's an accident. And hopefully I'll get this sorted out soon. So, it's freezing here. So anyone who doesn't know me, I am Vicky Marie. I live in mainland Spain, in Europe. I am British though, born in Britain, and I report on true crime cases or all sorts of things that I think people will find interesting, from anywhere in the English speaking world really, and even the Spanish speaking world sometimes. What I'm going to talk about in this video is this case of Sebastian, who was, of course, just 15 years old, high-functioning autistic boy who disappeared from Hendersonville in Tennessee, or is it Nashville? I'm not sure. But anyway, that area in America, and there's never, literally nothing that has been discovered since. I mean, there's been false sightings, there's been accusations, there's been lots of shade cast on various people that are involved in this case. Sebastian lived with his mum, Katie Proudfoot. Let's get a photo up. And his stepdad. God, see, I go through these photos, they're all duplicated everywhere. I have to find the photos. So let's see. Yeah, this is his mum, Katie, when he was younger, of course, Sebastian there. He lived with his mum and his stepdad, Chris Proudfoot. They've received a lot of criticism, people saying they had something to do with it, Chris did or Katie did, and it's been awful, isn't it? But most of the shade that has been cast on these people is from his biological father, Seth, who, in my opinion, my personal opinion, has behaved disgracefully. I don't think he had anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance. But a lot of people were very sympathetic with Seth in the beginning. I don't think there's quite as many people quite so sympathetic with Seth. But it doesn't matter who you're sympathetic with. You know, sometimes people talk about like the Proudfoots team or the Seth team. We're only on the Sebastian team. All we care about is, where is this boy? I can't see that he's still alive after all this time, because this is a long, long time ago when this boy disappeared. If we have we'll have a look in a minute at the I don't need to have it. Oh yeah, we will. The FBI page about Sebastian, though they're incorrect, because they said he was 14 when he went missing. He wasn't 14, he was 15. Since then he has turned 16. He is now 16, if he's still alive somewhere in this mad planet that we live on. But how can he be? How can he be when he's been missing, you know, a year and a half, really, hasn't he? It was February, wasn't it? I think it was February the 13th, but we'll check that in a moment. So what happened to him? You know, a lot of people, mainly due to Seth's being so horrible about Sebastian's mum and stepdad, who probably aren't perfect parents. I'd just say to anyone, are you a perfect parent? If your child went missing, would people drag up things? Oh yeah, I remember when they smacked them in the supermarket, or I remember when, you know, they said something horrible, or I remember this, or I remember that. If you think you're a perfect parent, well, do you know what? It must be murder being perfect. I'm sure these parents aren't perfect. But that doesn't necessarily mean, does it, that they actually murder? It's a big step from not being a perfect parent to actually murdering your child or stepchild. And you know what? Seth Rogers, he's not a perfect parent, is he either? I mean, there's lots of things about Seth, you know, that are just not brilliant, especially the people that he's been involved with, like Tony the Phony. He's gone quiet, hasn't he? What's happened to him? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him, but then I don't follow him or anything. And then, of course, he got involved. Dog the Bounty Hunter. You know, we know how he only appears in high-profile cases. Nick the Hat, who's a felon himself. You know, so you just think, God, all these people casting shade at Katie and Chris. Look at yourselves. You know, look at yourselves. I mean, maybe Katie and Chris did have something to do with Sebastian's disappearance. I don't know, because I don't know what happened to Sebastian. But if they didn't, you know, it's just awful what's has been done to them, you know, the way they've been treated, etc. And anyway, what we're here to talk about is there's been an audio released by AtNight Intellience, which is a private, I don't even know what it is. I don't even want to talk about it really particularly, but it's run by this guy, isn't it? Nick the Hat, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and there's another one called, I can't even remember what his name is. You know, they're all sort of bit dodgy in themselves, but they've really got it in for the Proudfoots. It feels like they're really convinced that Chris and Katie have had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance, which, you know, maybe they did, but the police have cleared them, or at least I expect the police, law enforcement, they won't be clearing anyone, but they've given everyone apparently lie detector tests. Everybody's passed these lie detector tests. No charges have been laid, even though it's been a year and a half. So we have to remember all these things. We have no proof that there's any evidence against the Proudfoots or Seth or anybody. You know, this is an ongoing investigation. It's unsolved. It's mysterious. Sebastian, you know, he obviously hasn't disappeared into thin air, but it feels like that, doesn't it? Anyway, before I get into it proper, I want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about Sebastian. I haven't done a video about Sebastian for a long, long time, months probably. But that's because there has been no news. It's not that, you know, I'd like to do a video about Sebastian every day. The video that I'd most like to do is, oh, Sebastian's been found safe and well and returned to his family. But, you know, it just hasn't been that way. It feels like it's gone cold. It's one of those sort of like summer wells, and I hope that Jack and Lily Sullivan's case doesn't turn into that, or Gus Lamont. It's sad, isn't it? And these are just touching the surface of missing children's cases. You know, there are loads all over the world, day in, day out. But these are the high profile ones that we've been following. But there literally has been no news about Sebastian. That's why I've not done a video about him. It's not that I don't care about him. It's not that I don't think about what's happened to Sebastian. It's none of that. It's just I'm not here to just clickbait and make things up just for the sake of a view. So it's only if, so this, I think this that's come out, this audio that's been released, to be fair, by Dog the Bounty Hunter and Nick the Hat, and I don't know if they thought they would release it and it would incriminate Chris and Katie. That's what we're here to talk about. You know, I'll be asking you, what do you think? Do you think this has made the case look worse for Chris and Katie, or do you think they were legitimate in, you know, getting angry? Because they did get angry, but remember, this was not the very first days of the investigation, but it was quite early on in the investigation. This private investigator that went to talk to them, she doesn't work for them anymore. She hasn't worked for them for ages. For the Rogers, this is the Rogers family, Seth Rogers. She stopped, you know, Seth. A lot of private investigators came and went with Seth because they couldn't get on with him. He ended up with Tony the Phony. Though that seems to have gone quiet now. I don't know if they're still, you know, I don't know if they still got a professional relationship going on. I have no idea. But that's what this conversation, the other thing that I need to say about this conversation before we get going with it is, it was not recorded with permission. You know, Chris makes that clear during the phone call. He asks about whether they're recording it or not. And this private investigator who tries to say they're a legitimate private investigator, is that legitimate then to record people without telling them they're being recorded? I don't even know if that's legal, but anyway, maybe it is. You know, it is America. America has different rules. But whether it's illegal or not, you know, you think how you would feel. You're just going, you know, someone phones you up by surprise or turns up at your house when you're suffering the fact that your son or stepson has gone missing. How would you feel? Because this private investigator won't have been the first or the only person who turned up. You know, they would have been bombarded by messages, phone calls, you name it. They will have received it. And now this private investigator that they know 100% is working for Seth has turned up. So would you get angry? I think I would probably get angry, whether I was guilty or innocent. I don't know, because ultimately you don't know how you would feel. You may feel that you know how they would feel because you've got children or you've got, but unless your child has gone missing, you have no clue. And Chris says that in this interview. So anyway, the reason for doing this, I'm going to react in this interview. I will be releasing the interview. Sorry, I'm going to react in this video, but I will be releasing the interview without any commentary as well, for people who prefer no waffle. And I understand that. I'll be releasing it and you can just watch it, make your own mind up. But some of us like to talk about it as we go. People, you know, I'll be giving my reaction and people in chat will be giving their reaction, what they think. But it is interesting. So I'm grateful to AtNight Intellience for releasing this video. As much as, you know, sorry, you're not my favourite people. I don't like the way you work. I don't like the fact you charge, is it $250,000 just for a phone call to assess a case? To me, it's just a big scam. But I'm just being honest. If you want to say you're not like that, well, you know, you say that. You can come on my channel and say that if you want. That's how it seems to me. But I am grateful that you've released this audio. Though I do think as far as the private investigator is concerned, you know, recording people without their permission, it's not good. It's not good. You know, even for a private investigator, it's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. Because you wouldn't like it done to you. So to me, whether you're a private investigator or what the hell you are, you have to think, how would you like to be treated if you were in that situation? And if your answer is, oh yeah, I'd love someone to come along and record me when I was really pissed off because my son or my stepson had just gone missing. I was really angry because everyone was turning up at my property. Yeah, I'd love that. If you can say, yes, I wouldn't mind that, then, well, you know, fill your boots, but not in my opinion. So yeah, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. Special thank you to my members. Tomorrow is Members Live. Again, it's Thursday again tomorrow. So please think about joining if you're not already a member. We have the Members Lives on a Thursday. We've got something very interesting to talk about tomorrow. And also you get to use the members emojis, etc. But also you just get to support my channel. If you like my channel, you like watching it, and you're in a position where you can, of course, please become a member. Also, special thank you to people who buy me Ko-fi, send super stickers, etc. But you know what? All of you like, subscribe, or just watch my channel, even you trolley dollies. Any interaction is a positive one for a YouTube channel. So thank you so much. And now I'm going to take off the banner. I'm going to come into the chat and I'm going to say hello to those of you who are brave enough to come into the chat. Put your head above the parapet. Hi, Angel. Hi, Blue. Hi, Angel. Hopefully won't be barring anyone today, but yesterday was a nightmare. Hi, Joanne. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Oh, here you go. Is it pink? You know what? There's your first one. He's going. Oh, thank you, Joanne. That's a lovely compliment. Thank you so much. Hi, Mello. Haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're still recovering from your sinus thing. Oh, God, there's another one. Where did they all come from? So I'm not even messing about. I'm just deleting people, not going to mention them. Hi, Emma. Angel, yeah, Nick the Hat. You got Dog the Bounty Hunter, Nick the Hat. You know, none of them have got a normal name, have they? Yeah, there's been absolutely right, Mello. Seth's got his own YouTube channel. That's the only thing that there's been any information on. And to be honest, there's not even been that much information on Seth's YouTube channel. And you'll find in this audio that comes out, this is the thing, Seth has made a lot of money out of this. A lot. Wait till you listen to the audio if you've not heard it before. You know, anyway, I won't go into it now. So anyone who's coming on that I don't know and the same weird things, they're just going because they're weird. Too many weird people. Oh, look, we've got a Russian one there. Well, I'm not. Oh, let's see. We'll see how it goes. Look. Gosh, all these new weird ones. Weird. Someone calling me posh. Me posh. I am old. I am an old bird. I'm definitely not posh. I was born on a council estate in Manchester. You couldn't get any less posh than me. But God, they come out of the woodwork, don't they? They do. Yeah. They're all going. Yeah, I'm okay. Are you? Do you know what? I think they're bots, to be fair. I hope they're not people, because you wouldn't think that people would be that you know, mentally challenged that they would do those kind of things that they do, just going around channels. I don't think they're real people, but do you know what? They might be. They might be. No. I'm a common old bird, thank you. A common old bird, not a posh old bird. I don't mind being called an old bird because I'm not a bird, but I am old, but I'm not posh at all. You know, I'm not ashamed of where I come from. In fact, if you'd come from where I come from, you know, you'd be lucky. You know, they're just like these. The other thing is, there's a lot of trolls out there, isn't there? They've done nothing with their lives, nothing. They've got no achievements. They've got, you know, you just think, what legacy you live into the world, you know, when it comes to the day that you face your maker. Now, I've not been a perfect person. When I face my maker, when the day comes that I have to say goodbye to this world and atone for whatever I've done or not done, or there'll be a lot of things that I'll have to say sorry for. Nothing mega. I mean, I haven't murdered anyone or anything like that, but I've done things that are not right. I've tried to make up for them in life as time goes on. But there will be, you know, and there'll be these things that will come to me and it'll be like, do you remember when you did that? You know, when God's trying to make me realize the bad things that I did. I have done bad things. But you know what? I've achieved a lot as well in my life. A lot. So, you know, if you'd even achieved 10% of what I've achieved in my life, you know, not only me, but a lot of people who do really good things in their life as well as bad things. None of us are perfect. We're all human. We've all got human frailties. We all fall down the cracks sometimes. But what are you doing? You know, what do these trolls do with their lives? Absolutely nothing. Well, the thing is, they're probably not working, so they'll be claiming welfare or whatever, but they're not even doing anything positive with their lives. Gosh, I think another one's just arrived. So, oh, they're real people, Blue. Do you think they are real people? It's interesting. Anyway, as I say, I've written to StreamYard and I said, please get me off this. I don't want to do the verticals anymore. But, you know, unfortunately, oh, yeah, it is always the verticals, isn't it? It's always the verticals that are weirdos. Oh, my God, what's wrong with you? Anyway, to my lovely, to my normal following, who are all very nice and we're all respectful to each other and to me, of course. Thank you for watching. Anyway, let's forget about them. So we're going into this audio. So in this video, we're going to discuss the audio. I'm going to react to it. You'll give me your comments. I'm going to put up this. I did do a little banner to put up. Now, because what you'll find in this, Chris and Katie are angry. But, you know, tell me what you think. But I think the private investigator is obnoxious. Certainly at the beginning, everything's very highly strung at the beginning. Does calm down as time goes on. Now, I think what we already know about Chris Proudfoot, you know, whether you think he's killed Sebastian or not, or, you know, he is a hothead. And Chris, if you're ever watching this, you are a hothead. You say things you shouldn't say. But I understand that because I'm a hothead as well. It's just I've learned more. You know, I'm a lot older than him, so I've learned more. But I still sometimes lose it completely. So I think I always have this understanding of Chris. But then there's always this thing about it said that he took a belt to Sebastian. That didn't go down well with people, did it? And in the beginning, everyone was so sympathetic towards Seth because he was overall YouTube, you know, making out with this pathos, like trying to say how, when he didn't even live with Sebastian, did he? He didn't even live with him. He's a deadbeat dad. He never paid for him. He abused Katie. He abused Sebastian when they were together. This is what we all know now. And nobody's perfect. But in the beginning, Seth was making himself out to be perfect and everyone felt so sorry for Seth. And I think the reason that people felt sorry for Seth is because Chris was too hot-headed, you know, but Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be asking you throughout this video. Do you think they have a right to be angry? Would you be angry if some private investigator turned up at your door, when your son has gone missing and you're experiencing all this trolling from people all over the internet, and some private investigator that you know is paid by, the person who's really anti you, i.e. Seth, and going around knocking on people's door and saying, no, they're a private investigator for the family. And as Katie says in this audio, she is the family. She's the mother, that she's the caretaker. She was looking after Sebastian. And I know then people will say, oh, well, she wasn't looking after him well enough because that's when he went missing. Possibly. But, Seth is making himself out to be this fantastic father. He wasn't. He's just a normal, absent father doing things right and wrong, I expect. But he's not a saint. That's what he was saying, more or less, in the beginning. Now I think people are more sort of aware of that. And, of course, he's made a bloody fortune out of his son going missing. Katie in this audio says that he made $50,000 in the first, in the early days when he was on all these different YouTube channels, etc. I don't know about that. All I know is if you want to be a member on his YouTube channel, it can be up to $50 to become a member. I don't know how many members he's got. I don't know all the ins and outs, do I? But, since Tony the Phony took over managing him, he started doing much more sort of things to raise money. Oh, and he started to GoFundMe in the early days. Katie will mention this. So these are the comments I'm going to say now. But as I say, if you want to listen to the actual audio without any commentary from me, so I will be releasing that separately on its own, but in this video it will be me reacting. So let's have a look. Let me know, as always, what you think, but remember to be respectful to me, to be respectful to Chris, Katie and Seth. I'm not saying Seth is a killer. I don't think Seth has got anything to do with I don't think any of them have got anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance, if I'm honest. I think something has befallen Sebastian that's not to do with the family. But anyway, so just be respectful. That's all you can say. You think, if you want to say you think that Chris has done something, say that, but just the way you say it. Okay? So let's have a look at this video.
Hi, Katie.
What can I do for you? Are you the woman that trespassed my property yesterday?
I actually didn't. I walked down your neighbor's property and then down the easement and then up the other side.
That's not an easement. I own that. That's my property.
Well, the fence says no trespassing. I didn't come on the property.
That is my property.
The easement, that's a public easement.
I own it. It's mine. I own it.
I am here to try to clear.
So the first thing that I'd like to say is, why did this private investigator has literally turned up and knocked on the door? How many people were knocking on Katie and Chris's door at that time? You would be annoyed. Of course you would be annoyed. Also, I think in the beginning, especially, as time goes on, she gets a bit less confrontational. I think the private investigator has got no right to talk to these people the way she does. Now, I think she's talking to them like that because she's been employed by Seth and she's been poisoned a bit against them right from the beginning. Now, this particular private investigator, she left quite quickly. Do you remember that? Seth's gone through loads of private investigators because they can't work with him because he's obnoxious to them. And they can't all be wrong, can they? So I do think right from the beginning, this private investigator is so aggressive towards them that, I'm surprised it didn't get more out of hand, to be perfectly honest. But that's how I feel. But, everyone will have their own opinion.
Hi, Katie.
What can I do for you? Are you the woman that trespassed my property yesterday?
I actually didn't. I walked down your neighbor's property and then down the easement and then up the other side.
That's not an easement. I own that. That's my property.
Well, the fence says no trespassing. I didn't come on the property.
That is my property.
The easement, that's a public
I
easement.
own it. It's mine. I own it.
I am here to try to clear you,
I don't
so
need you to clear me.
I don't know why you're being defensive with me.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
First, can you identify yourself?
I did already. My name's Heather, private investigator.
My name's Heather. I'm a private investigator. Now, Chris was on the phone, I think. Chris was working away because he works, doesn't he? He works quite hard. And, seeing it, hearing him in the background, he is hot-headed. And now this couple, whatever anyone might say, Katie and Chris, they are a proper couple. They're proper together, aren't they? They do things together. Maybe he is the person in charge. I don't know, but I don't think Katie is a pushover. No, she was in the forces. She's not complete pushover, but she's got a quieter personality from Chris. Chris, it says what he thinks. He says that himself. You can make your own mind whether you think that's good or not. But you know what? This woman has rocked up to their property. She has trespassed, and she won't be the only one. I think that's the other thing you've got to remember. It's not like, oh, they've had a week of nobody coming there and somebody's turned up. Everybody's at their property trying to get photos of him, trying to get interviews, really harassing Katie at the time, because this was in the early days. So it would have been non-stop. And then it was all over the internet. It was all over everything. These people, and they've lost their son. She doesn't know what's happened to her son. So I think you've got to think of the way they would feel.
But you're coming to my house. And you're
I am. I'm investigating the disappearance of your stepson. So do you want him found or no? Because if you do, then why would you have a problem with me coming to talk to you?
Do you want him found or no? I mean, I just think that's a revolting way to speak to these people. But I do think this particular private investigator, she was poisoned by Seth because she left very shortly after this interview. So I don't know why this interview is coming out after all this time. And I don't know what they think it's trying to prove. As I say, as we go through, it's about an 11-minute interview. I think in the beginning, Chris is going mental, basically, like he does. And Katie's angry, but Katie's got a lot of quieter way of expressing it. But the private investigator is rude. Do you want your son found or not? I mean, that reminds me a bit of Karen Sprague, like when she turned up at the McCanns, do you want to find your daughter or not? What's it got to do with you? Anyway, what has it got to do with her? They're the people who are living it. That private investigator, I don't know what she's doing today, but she won't be, living through the fact she's lost her child. Katie and Chris, especially Katie, of course, being the biological mother, she's got to live with that every day that her son is not there. This is not, it's not a story. It's her real life. And this woman's turned up and saying, oh, well, do you want to find your son or not? I personally find that offensive.
Guys.
Well,
real simple, because we're asking you questions and you're telling us that you can't answer those questions. So why should we answer any?
I absolutely did not trespass.
there's no such thing.
There's
as a
nothing.
public
There
I
is
did
no
not
such thing as a
trespass.
public
Not in this
It's not posted.
I own it. I have signs on all
Okay,
the
your fence has a sign. I didn't
It's
talk
3
about.
foot inside of.
So as if you turn up at somebody else's house, how would she feel if they turned up at her house, I wonder? Would she get angry? Probably. How would you feel? I know how I'd feel if the doorbell rang in a minute and there's some person there, some private investigator about my missing child. I'd be fuming, especially on top of all the other people that have been there probably. And not only that, she's shouting at them. How dare she do that? How dare she? So personally, I think if they've released this audio to try and look bad at Chris and Katie, it looks bad on the private investigator. And the other thing you have to remember, she did not ask for permission to record this call. She's recording this in secret. And then at some point, Chris asked Katie to ask her to show him the phone on, Chris is joining him like by, I don't know, FaceTime or whatever, because he's suspicious that she's recording the call, and she says she isn't, but she is. So that's unethical for me. If I was Chris, I'd be looking to get struck off being a private investigator.
Okay, take it up with, if you want to report it to law enforcement, do it. Take it up with them. I am trying to help. Okay, so if you want somebody to help you, that's what I'm doing. So calm down, talk to me like civil human beings. I'm trying to help find him. I've been talking to sex offenders in the area.
Law enforcement has done that.
Okay, and I'm going to do it too, because I'm working it too. And I have that right, and the person that hired me has that right. Anybody has that right.
He's also blatantly accusing me of murder when I didn't.
I haven't accused you of shit.
I didn't say you did. I said he did.
Okay, well, I'm trying to decide who is on my...
So who's the calm one there? I haven't accused you of shit. Is that how you talk to a woman whose child is missing? I haven't accused you of shit. It feels like Katie is the calm one. I know Chris isn't calm because he never is he? It's very easy to bait Chris, and she knows that. It's almost like deliberate, really. It's easy to bait Chris, but Katie is actually very calm. But this horrible private investigator is saying, I'm not accusing you of shit. Is that really the way to talk to a woman whose child has disappeared? And there is no evidence to suggest that she's got anything to do with it. You might think she has something to do with it, but there's no evidence to support she's got anything to do with it. She's done a lie detector test. She's cooperated with the police. The police have searched the house. She's done everything she had to do according to law enforcement, and she has not been arrested. And this horrible woman who's supposed to be a private investigator is turning up and saying, I'm not accusing you of shit. What sort of way is that to talk to someone who's lost their child? I'll tell you, I personally think the private investigator is awful.
Radar and who is not. I've talked to sex offenders. That is my focus right now. In my mind, you're not a person of interest, but I'm coming here trying to talk to you.
It's not a good look to trespass either. That's my
what it looks like, ma'am.
It's posted all 4 ways.
I just came from the TBI headquarters in Jackson, Miss.
Honey, I'm going to tell you, as a PI, I have a lot more leeway with things I can do and people I can talk to. And this isn't my first rodeo. I've worked cases like this before. I have gotten information that TBI or law enforcement's not able to get, and I have passed it along, and it has helped the case. I mean, that's all I can tell you.
What have you passed along that's helped the case?
I just started working this case. I haven't even got a chance to talk to you or Katie yet.
Yeah, so Chris said to her, what have you done to help this case? She hasn't done anything because she's only just started working it. But see how aggressive she is towards them. Surely that is not a good way to be. If she's genuinely trying to get an interview out of these people, why is she being so aggressive?
Well, here's the thing. You're not talking to her by herself, period.
Okay.
You're not going to talk to my wife.
Fine. Set up an appointment with me. Do you want to do that? I can come back. I mean, I can respect your time.
Set up an appointment with me then. Who does she think she is? Honestly, I mean, Chris then says, you're not speaking to my wife without me. Chris and Katie always show a united front. You can call that control from Chris, or you can call that concern from Chris. You'll make your own mind up about what you think about it. That's just the way it is. But this woman is like demanding an interview. They don't have to give her an interview. They don't have to do anything. She's putting them in a position where if they said, no, we're not having an interview with you, then it'd be like, oh, well, they must have something to hide, So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. This woman is awful. But do you know what? In the end, she left, didn't she? She fell out with Seth in the end. So, if you fast forwarded from this private investigator, she didn't last 5 minutes because I think she realised, Joanne, oh dear. The thing is, because my streaming service has started this new thing where you're streaming horizontal and vertical. So, you're on the right one now. Stay where you are because you're on the horizontal one. That's the best one. So, but anyway, You're here, I can see you, we can see your comments, etc. Now, actually, that reminds me, I'm going to put this on. So don't forget, in comments, let me know what you think. Do you think Chris and Katie are right to be angry?
I'm not trying to be this. Whatever. I mean, I really think everybody just needs to calm down. Emotions are high, people are flinging mud, and it's just getting drama and stupid, and that is a terrible disadvantage to Sebastian.
Right, but let me inform you on something. You're not the one being threatened here.
I think everybody's being threatened. Did you know there was a drive-by shooting last?
People being threatened. Bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, she says, I think everybody's being threatened. Do you know there was a drive-by shooting? What was the drive-by shooting? What's that got to do with anything? You know, what's she talking about? You know, Katie was having death threats. That's why Katie left that house in the end when the police said to her, you know, that they didn't think that Sebastian was in the area. After, you know, Katie did leave eventually to go and stay with Chris at his work because she didn't want to be there on her own. I don't blame her. Who can blame her? Anyway, in the end, when the police said to her that they didn't think that Sebastian was anywhere round about, then off she went to stay with Chris. So people have criticised her for doing that. But she didn't leave the next day, like in Jack and Lily Sullivan's case, where Malaya left literally the next day from when her children went missing. Katie went when the police said to her, look, he's not here, he's not in this area. She'll explain that in a moment.
All right. I mean, I don't understand why you guys are coming at me. I didn't do anything to you.
Okay, well, first off, you came to my house the other day.
Yes.
Yesterday. You walked around my fucking property with a camera, you videotaped and took pictures.
Privately owned property back
They
there.
didn't fucking post it all sides of that property.
I mean, the easement between houses is not usually.
I own it.
In that fucking subdivision.
I own half, my neighbors own half, period.
So this is the thing, you've got to keep this audio in context. If somebody turned up now at my house and asked me about something, maybe I wouldn't be angry. But you bear in mind that that since Sebastian disappeared, they've received death threats. They've had people round at their house every 5 minutes. You've got the press pointing cameras at her, at them, everything they do. They went in that motorbike shop and there was photos going around. There's nothing that these people haven't done that hasn't been photographed. They've been stalked, they've been harassed, they've been threatened. And now she's another one turning up. So you've got to take it in context. And not only that, she's turning up. She's trespassed on their property. And she's been aggressive to them. In my opinion, that's how it looks to me.
That's not public. There are no.
I mean, there's no property lines. There's no way to tell what is.
It's marked. I have stakes.
I mean, can you show me? Because I
I can
didn't.
show you all 4 no trespassing signs.
There are.
So she says there's 4 no trespassing signs outside. She says, oh, can you show me? You know, get stuffed. Go away. She's at Katie's property. You know, I bet Katie, you know, to me, I'd feel like the next day finding out where she lives and going and waiting outside her property. And don't forget Betty Bullshit that we don't hear of much nowadays, do we? That horrible YouTuber who's in with Seth and all these people. She was stalking her. You know, everyone's been stalking Katie and blaming her because she was the last person to see Sebastian alive. Sebastian disappeared. Now, even if it turns out one day she did have something to do with it, well, fair enough, we'll all be having a go at her. But at this moment in time, Katie is not guilty of anything. So this horrible woman, in my opinion, and then she ended up falling out with Seth, of course.
On the fence.
You can go on the city and you can look at the property line and you can.
I mean, they're on the fence. I wouldn't jump your fence.
I own it. Half of that is mine, half of that is theirs. That's why they turned it in and they turned it into the police.
I'm sorry, what? I think that when there's a no trespassing sign on the fence, that means you don't go into the fence. I'm not going to go into the fence.
Negative. Actually, that's wrong.
Okay, well, I'm not sure how I would know that. All right, well, I'm not really.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
she's
just not really
hilarious.
sure how anybody would know that easement is yours.
Step out of your car the other day and
Look, she's just a leery little cow because at the end of the day, she's at their house. And the other thing that Katie was concerned about was because that bit in the middle, that Katie owns half of it and her neighbour owns the other half of it. So she's concerned for her neighbours because her neighbours are having people going around taking photos of their properties as well. And they haven't done anything wrong. They just happen to be living next door to someone whose child has gone missing. So there's all those things. And this woman's supposed to be a private investigator, but she's got no finesse. She's got no tact. She's just awful.
you walked onto the property. When Mike, my neighbor, saw you,
I
and Mike
walked right past
across
your
the
neighbor.
street saw you, turn around. Where they saw you. Now got you on camera, walking your ass through my property, right next to my fucking driveway. You walked past 3 fucking signs, woman. 3. Don't tell me you didn't see them. They're on the fucking fence.
So he just gets so angry, Chris, doesn't he? You walk through 3 signs, woman. Like, that won't make him any friends, will it, calling her woman? But, you know, that's just when Chris loses it, he loses it. So he's protecting his woman, who's Katie. And, you know, he shouldn't refer to that girl. But I think he doesn't know her name. I can't remember her name either. She's not that significant, to be honest, for me. Perhaps the same for him. But he shouldn't have called a woman, of course. But, you know, that's just what he goes when he goes off on one. That's it.
You just said it on this camera, and I got news for you. Because you've done that, you have violated trespassing.
I was actually trying to stay on the outside of your property. Okay, well, I don't know how I would know that that's not.
I don't know how I would know that's. Why doesn't she try saying, "No, I'm so sorry. I didn't realise I was trespassing. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot, but can I have an interview?" Why doesn't she just apologise? She's just horrible.
Add the detectives into this so that they can see her and find out what she's.
I just left the sheriff's department. I've talked to Tim Bailey. I've talked to Sheriff Weatherford. I've been talking to all of them. So anyway.
Okay, well, first off.
But why is this the focus instead of finding Sebastian? It's a waste of time right now. We're arguing over a property line, like when there is a missing child.
Never apologise.
I'm not showing up here to do anything to you except for find your son.
No.
I'm not a threat to you.
All you had to do was pick up the fucking phone and call us.
That's not how I operate. I talk to people in.
So he says to her, all you had to do was pick up the fucking phone and talk to us. He's lost it now. He's angry. And she says, I'm a PI. I don't do that. I just turn up at people's houses. Oh, my God. I wonder if she's still a PI because she's the crappiest PI I've ever seen. Because private investigators, they're supposed to be private, aren't they? Aren't they supposed to be like a bit incognito under the, you know, they're supposed to try and charm people and, you know, get around them for interviews. She's not really a very good one, is she? Because she can't, they're talking to her. And I think I've seen Chris being interviewed before and I know he gets angry, but you know what? Doesn't take much calming down either. That's his personality. She was on their property, so she's the one who needs to apologise. They don't have to apologise to her. You know, you don't have to apologise to someone who comes on your property. They should apologise to you. But this supposedly brilliant private investigator doesn't realise that.
Person. That's what I do.
You're shit at your job.
No, that's not shit at your job. PIs don't call people. They show up at their houses.
Well, I got news for you.
Okay.
Tennessee is a certain.
Are you going to set up?
So PIs don't call people, they show up at their houses. For fuck's sake. I mean, come on. What a load of rubbish.
An appointment with me, or do you just want to keep yelling at me? This is really ridiculous. Like, this is the drama that's a disadvantage to Sebastian. He's not going to be found this way.
Answer my question. What the hell are you going to do?
She doesn't care about Sebastian. She'll get up the next morning. She says she's got a son of 15 as well. Her son will be there when she gets up. It's Sebastian who's missing. She doesn't care about these people. She's just trying to wind them up.
To help find our son.
I am knocking on doors, talking to sex offenders,
FBI, Secret Service, TBI.
I am
Santa
communicating with the
Sheriff's
bank.
Office has
I
all
just
done
talked to
that.
Tim Bailey, asked him if they talked to the sex offender. They have not talked to the sex offender. He said, I'm free to go do so, which is what I'm doing, okay?
Okay, well, first off, when you come on somebody's property, you're supposed to announce yourself because we haven't posted no trespass. It doesn't matter what your fucking job title is. Well, once it's why I try to explain to you. There's no property lines in that entire subdivision. No. There's no community. No, nothing. Nothing. So where you were walking yesterday on camera, you're on my property.
But I really wish that you would lighten up a little bit because we are focusing on the wrong thing when we should be focusing on finding Sebastian.
If you want me to lighten up,
I do.
You want me to lighten up?
Yes, sir.
It's real simple.
I will not walk on your property again. I apologize for walking down the easement, what looked like an easement.
You told my neighbor you were hired by the family, and I am the family.
Yeah.
So if I didn't hire...
So she told their neighbours she was hired by the family, but Katie is the family. Now, Seth is, of course, Sebastian's dad, but he is his absent dad. He's not his caregiver. He's not who Sebastian was living with. So it's a wrong misrepresentation by her to say she was employed by the family. And she's just not very good, is she? Generally, she's not a good private investigator to me. I mean, I don't know, you become a private investigator, surely you'd have a bit more tact when you were speaking to people who had lost their child and facing all these accusations. And I think she's got this woman, she's gone out there and she's been poisoned by what Seth has told her. So as time goes on and Katie tells us some home truths about Seth, you can tell she sounds sort of a bit flummoxed. And of course, she did leave Seth as well.
It tells me right there that you're hired by the Rogers family.
But I am not hired to implicate or accuse you. And
I'm not asking you to implicate.
I am trying to find him, so I want to talk to you too.
You'll come find me.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm here trying to find you.
I'm not hard to find.
Okay, when do you want it? Let's set this up. When do you want to meet? Whenever. We're at Memphis. I'll be in Jackson tomorrow, so I can meet you. I can I can come all the way to Memphis if that's what you require, or you can meet me somewhere in between.
Well, I would prefer you come see me because I work nights. So 9 to 1 when you guys are up, I'm actually sleeping.
Okay, but it's not going to be you and Katie. It's just going to be you.
It would be just me because unless Katie's coming down to see me, well, she can't. We have other things that have to happen at the house. It wouldn't be together. The only time we're going to be together might be Sunday, Monday. That's when we might actually be back together again.
Okay, well,
I'm working.
I mean, I'd rather do it both at the same time. And you already said you don't want me talking to your wife without you present. So
right.
That would mean...
And you can ask the cops that. They don't show up and talk to her without somebody telling us both. That's just the way this works. That's safety in numbers. I don't trust. Don't take it the wrong way. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, we wouldn't know each other. I mean, we have no reason to know each other prior to this. But
it's not hard to make a phone call and talk to somebody first. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
However, my history with cases like this is that, especially with you guys are already defensive.
Right, I understand that. Not everybody in this world is like that. Not everybody is like that. I'm not. I'll be honest, I'm level-headed, I'm very brash, I'm blunt to the point. I've already told the cops this. I don't give a flying fuck what happens to him or what happens to that fucking family.
Yeah.
They did what they did.
Yeah. What would be really great in a perfect world would be if I could calm that down a little bit.
Yeah. Now, finally, she's trying to calm it down. Finally, she should have started off in a calm way. She's the one who's distant. She's supposed to be the professional. You could see why Chris would be angry Katie would be angry. Though I think Katie was very calm. But she's the professional private investigator. Why wasn't she calm right from the beginning? Anyway, it does start to calm down a little bit now. And she does get more out, Chris and Katie start to say more to her. But don't forget, she tells them she's not recording. That is wrong, in my opinion. Would you like to be recorded? when you didn't know you were being recorded? Would you? No. They do talk about it specifically.
Because right now, but it's not this isn't helping Sebastian. You know,
It didn't help Sebastian when he aired his trauma. It didn't help Sebastian when he accused his mother of murder. It didn't help Sebastian when he made almost $50,000 on my son going missing.
So 3 things there that Katie said that I think are very important. And I said it right at the time. Do you remember when Seth suddenly started talking about the abuse that Sebastian had suffered from another boy? And this was when Sebastian was still missing. And I remember thinking and saying on a video, do you imagine a 15-year-old boy, now the whole world knows that he's been sex abused by another young lad, and they're trying to get him to come home? Of course he's not going to want to come home, is he? How embarrassing is that? And that was Seth that talked about that. And Seth, who accused Katie of being a murderer, of murdering her own son. And it was Seth who's made all this money out of his YouTubes and things. She says, she actually quotes there $50,000. I don't know if that's true, but she seems to think it is. Let's just listen to that again.
Level-headed, I'm very brash, I'm blunt to the point. I've already told the cops this. I don't give a flying fuck what happens to him or what happens to that fucking family.
Yeah.
They did what they did.
Yeah. What would be really great in a perfect world would be if I could calm that down a little bit, because right now, but it's not this isn't helping Sebastian. You know,
It didn't help Sebastian when he aired his trauma. It didn't help Sebastian when he accused his mother of murder. It didn't help Sebastian when he made almost $50,000 on my son going missing.
Who did?
Seth.
Yeah.
Don't know. I didn't know about that. I don't know anything about that.
Every single day he goes on. Internet sleuth.
Let me lay this out for you, okay? Take to the investigation.
I tried to work with him.
We were all in my house. Mm-hmm. Me, Katie, Seth, and 2 other witnesses and law enforcement. We're in the house.
Yeah.
I brought up, what else can we do to help with this situation?
Right. Okay.
And when I said, hey, do we need to raise money? Do we need to get some investigators? What do we need? Horses, whatever. We'll do whatever.
Yeah.
They said don't do anything with money because it makes the family look bad and it could turn ugly. Okay, cool. All of us standing in that living room in my house made an agreement that said we were not going to do that.
Okay. Well, so
I said, hold on. We'll make the beef. Turn your phone around. Not you, hers.
So this is the bit where Chris says, turn your phone around. I want to see her phone to see if she's recording this conversation. And she turns it around. It mustn't have been apparent on the phone because, of course, she was recording the conversation. She lied to him. Oh, she didn't exactly lie to him because she didn't say I'm not recording, but she didn't say she was recording either. And then he apologized to her for being suspicious, but he was right to be suspicious. She was always recording it. And, what you said then, Joanne, about Seth being on his own, he's not on his own. He's always had his parents. He's now got a girlfriend. He's had all the sympathy that he got in the first time. He's not on his own. Seth tries to make himself look pathetic. And I'll tell you what, if he is on his own, there's a reason why he's on his own, because nobody wants to be around him. All his PIs left in the end because they couldn't get on with him. He's obnoxious to be around. He was violent towards Katie when they were together. Also, Katie was only 14 when they got together. So it not only is a domestic abuser, but he's also a PDF as far as I'm concerned. He's not a nice person.
I want to see the face of her.
Oh, that she's recording.
You want to see the face of my phone?
Yes.
Let me unlock it.
His conversation.
He wanted to see the face of her phone, but he didn't realise she was recording it. But he's fuming now.
Don't take it the wrong way, but I told you, I don't trust people right now. And people are trying to use shit in however they can. But that conversation in that living room was an agreed upon deal not to do anything with a GoFundMe page and collect money and benefit off of this. Mm-hmm. And sure as shit, what happened? The very next fucking day, there's a GoFundMe fucking page that's posted.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
So I didn't understand how he
Seth
knew
has
that
made
Sebastian
money
wouldn't be
off
found
of,
and would need money when my
Sebastian's
son hadn't been
disappearance.
missing 72 hours, and yet he knew he was going to need money to pay his bills that far in advance. That speaks volumes to me. The fact that he can't be bothered to help look for his son in the beginning. The fact that he literally released my son's sensitive trauma issues and blatantly lied about all of the details surrounding it,
That's a
including
liar.
the age of the person who did it to him. The fact that he has turned my son missing into some dramatized bullshit for the internet.
Yeah, just so he can profit. And it's
Just so he
sad.
can profit.
It is truly sickening. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's sickening
I
that he
agree.
profited off of this.
I don't need to be on television hanging corners. I don't need to brag that I have done what I have done to help find my son.
Well, I understand how you guys feel about everything.
So you don't push the information to Detective Carter?
I haven't talked to Carter yet. Carter has not gotten back with me. So I had to...
down here with me.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But
The reason why they didn't answer.
yeah,
I know that.
but so yeah, but
Don't take this the wrong way, but why is a PI going on doing internet sleuth interviews?
you know, he contacted me before I was even hired to work the case.
Just,
But yeah,
no
but
offense, I'm just asking.
but no, I mean, I'm not a sleuth. I'm actually a PI.
I didn't call you a sleuth.
Yeah.
On
The sleuth podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, they asked me for my thoughts on the Sebastian Rogers case, and
So
who is it?
aware of all of that, and Seth is not doing anything that he hasn't already done to me in the past.
Like, I'm not interested in the drama. I'm not interested in the rumors. I'm going to base who I think needs to be on the radar based on my interviews, my investigation, not what anybody else says.
So I have a question. You conduct your portion, do your thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know the Rogers family has hired you.
Okay.
It is very evident
Okay.
because we didn't hire.
They
Okay.
announced it publicly. It's not a secret. I know, but we already know.
There is
that
another
because-
PI too, by the way.
I know. There's
Okay.
at least like 3 or 4 of them.
Oh yeah, I will tell you this. You can tell all the PIs.
But this
I know
is
you won't.
Nick
Yeah.
the Hat. This is Nick the Hat, isn't it? And it was Dog the Bounty Cat. So he had 3 or 4 PIs. They've all gone now. All he's got, or the last I heard, he had Tony the Phony, but I don't know if even Tony's still working with him now. It's all gone very quiet, hasn't it? But they couldn't get on with him, these PIs. Now, I think as this recording goes on, and I'm sure it's been edited as well, but as this recording goes on, you can see this private investigator comes round more to them. She's probably thinking, oh my God, Seth told me this, Seth told me that. If she's if she's a private investigator worth anything, she will have an intuition when she's talking to people. When I listen to Katie and Chris talk, to me it seems like Katie is a very calm, balanced person, and that doesn't go down well sometimes because people expect her to be a different kind of, because she's lost her son. They expect her to be different, but she's a service person. She is calm. She's had to be calm. And whereas with Chris strikes me as he's a hothead. He is a hothead, and he loses it, and he shouldn't lose it. He swears a lot. He, says things he shouldn't say, and then he calms down. But I think with Chris, if you respect him and you talk to him in a normal way, instead of if you're aggressive, Chris is one of those sort of people. If you're aggressive to him, he'll be aggressive back. But if you're respectful to him, he'll be respectful back. That's how Chris strikes me anyway. But I don't feel like either of them have got anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance. And you'll see in a minute, Katie seems to be, she wants to know what's happened to Sebastian. She seems to think that he might have been trafficked, but you'll hear that shortly.
We do.
Because we're sick and tired of being stalked and people coming on our properties. Because that's not just my property. It's theirs. We've
Okay.
marked
You know,
to
we're cool about that. Like,
probably 24 different, I'm the best one, I'm going to crack the case people already. And every last one of them that have talked to us, we have said, you are welcome to come and start from square one. You're not going to find anything that,
Well, I only
250 professionals didn't, but you're welcome to try, because at this point,
I haven't been here since day one when all this went down.
yeah.
And people don't understand. People can say, well, I understand how you feel when nobody knows how we feel.
Yeah.
Because unless you've lost a child and you've gone through this crap,
Mhm.
you don't know. Like, I'll tell people, you don't know shit.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I will tell you
This is just in general.
I will tell you that I have only been hired on this case for 2 days.
I will forewarn
2
you. So
days.
anything that you get, that you share back.
Yeah, she only lasted about a week.
so I'll share what? Share back to the family, is that what you said?
Anything. Yeah, if you anything that you find or you get, share.
It's going to depend if it comes from law enforcement, which is what I told Weatherford. If it's something they share with me that they tell me, because I understand that there are some things that don't need to be in the public, and if it's
Answer our question. Are you going to give them information back? Yes or no? I mean, it's real simple.
depending on what it is. If it's something I can share with them, yes, I will share it with them.
I will say this: I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find some. I hope you get some. Truly, I truly do.
So you see, when Chris calms down, he's like, he goes off on one and then he calms down. I wish, it's a shame. That's just his personality. We've all got our personalities. Some people are calm, some people aren't.
I hope you can find. I don't give a shit what it is. Piece of evidence or something that will move something in one direction.
Right.
I will tell you this. There is no chance Seth Rogers or the Roger family is going to reach out and contact us, and there's going to be reciprocating phone calls, because it ain't happening right.
There doesn't need to be phone calls between you guys.
The only way that's going to happen, he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
It's real simple. So, and I mean, unfortunately, he's made this bed, he's going to lie. I mean, it is what it is.
I tried, 4 different times to get him to interview with me.
It seems like y'all were somewhat cordial in the beginning.
We were.
He have been very cordial. I got proof of shit where he's running his mouth that he didn't talk to me and all this. I got phone records where I have had hour-long conversations.
When he said that Hayat spoke to him, that we refused to speak to him for 2 weeks, he was on the phone with him for long periods of time, damn near every day at that point. Well,
Yes, Seth has told a lot of porky pies, hasn't he? A lot of lies. And that's the other thing that always swayed me away from Seth is, I always felt uncomfortable about Seth right from day one. I think it was just the fact he was on all those YouTube channels and everything. And Chris and Katie, they've been told by the police, not to go and say all these things. So they stepped back, didn't they? But Seth was out there. And then Seth was whinging that the police weren't telling him anything, but the police couldn't tell him anything because he would then go on a YouTube channel and start spouting his mouth off and casting shade on Chris and Katie. Well, he's the one who started a relationship with Katie when she was 14 years old. And when he was married to Katie, he abused both her and Sebastian. That's why she divorced him. It's all that I've still got his divorce papers somewhere, that I've downloaded from the internet. He was an abusive husband and an abusive father. And then he's out there criticizing Katie and Chris. How dare he, really? And I think this private detective, who's only been 2 days on the job, she said, of course, she's been hired by Seth, been told all these things, but you find very quickly, I think even just in this audio, you can see the change in her thinking. And then she left shortly afterwards, as did all the other private investigators, because they found out that Seth is not telling the truth about everything.
They were welcomed in the house. It was fine. And what was your name again?
this is what they told us about you too.
Well, everybody and I'm being honest, everybody on fucking Facebook, all this YouTube, all this TikTok, all this bullshit. They could take those fucking shows and stick them so far up their asses, and I hope they choke off.
Yeah.
But boy, there ain't a fucking one of them out there that would sit here and run us through the fucking dirt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire.
Well, we're so unhinged that they found.
Well, it must be horrible, you know, to have all these horrible things said about you. But anyway, I've never said horrible things about you, Chris.
Some lady that has the same name as me that murdered her child, I guess, in the early 2000s, and they're trying to say that that's me.
That's the problem with sleuths that don't have access to like actual databases, is that a lot of these like truth.
Yeah, all those things they, you know, all these different YouTubers and social media, and Seth, that they found this person who had the same name as Katie who murdered their child years ago, and they were all trying to say it was Katie. You know, honestly, well, you know what I say. Don't believe everything you see on social media. Even what I say, you've got to make your own mind up. But I never, there's nothing, I can tell you now, I talk about facts. We might speculate about the facts. What I'll do is something like this, present something to you. What do you think? That's speculation. That's not like how people come, oh, Katie was, you know, she murdered a child before. It was, oh, you know, why would people do things like that?
Finder and all those like, you know, the public access ones. There's mixed information.
Let me ask you this. You're going after sex offenders, obviously.
Right. That's my...
You have the access to scan the dark web for trafficking?
Yeah. I can get that done. Not me personally, but I know somebody, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Please. I mean, you're not more for me, but...
Yeah, no, but that's... I mean, is that how you feel? That's what you think is going on?
Everybody keeps talking about trafficking and trafficking and trafficking. And they just found 11 missing kids, and everybody's going after this whole sex offender bullshit. So if there's anything to it and someone took him and it's trafficking, where would they go?
Right.
So you see there, Katie's saying, what is the truth about this trafficking situation? So she's seen so much about it because she doesn't know where he is or what's happened to him. She's more confused than anyone. 1 minute he was there at the house, the next minute he was gone. Where is he? So she's, oh God, he's got that Spider-Man t-shirt on again. Don't, please, if you've got children or grandchildren, don't buy them anything Spider-Man t-shirt, pajamas. Just seems to be bad luck to me.
Because if he were within 5 miles of this house, there's no chance that he wouldn't have been found. None. Because I know every single group, agency, technology, everything that was brought in, there's no chance he was within 5 miles of this house.
Okay.
It was done over and over and over, and they used heat sinking, they used FLIR, they used vision, they used night. I mean, they did. They did. If you can name it, they did it, and they did it in multiple ways. I don't think he's that close to home, unless he's in a basement. I was begging them to search farther.
Okay.
This area has been canvassed.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a mom too, baby. I get it. I do. I have a 15-year-old son as well. You're doing a good job of keeping yourself together, which some people...
Yeah, see, she seems to come over a bit to Katie's side more at the end. That's how she should have started off this interview, remembering that this is a woman who's lost her 15-year-old son. And, you know, with the best will in the world, although she says, oh, yeah, I've got a 15-year-old son as well. She doesn't know how it would feel if he went missing. None of us do know that. We can imagine, but we don't know. I just don't, as I said, all people that have got missing, children especially, but any loved one, I don't even know how they get up in the morning, put one foot in front of the other, because every day, as I say, it's not just a case that we're watching a video about it every now and again. To them, it is their lives. It is what they're actually going through. And people like this Nick the Hat, you know, they're just making it worse.
Interpret badly.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Every one of them spineless cowards ain't got the fucking balls to come over call, ain't got nothing. All they got is a keyboard to put out there.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit stories.
I wasn't trying to be hateful. It's just, there's so many people.
Poor Sebastian.
So do you plan on releasing any of the footage and pictures that you took of the house?
No. That's for me. That's for my file.
There's not an inch of my house inside or out that hasn't been publicly posted. So you can find it. It's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, the pictures, regardless, you can find the pictures of every angle.
Yeah.
On silk.
I'm sure.
Well, I will say this much. Before you make that trip to Memphis, I need to make sure, one, I'll be able to have the time to actually sit down and talk, because we have concrete floors, a chick flow, and those hours are longer than normal. So I don't want to sit there and waste your time and your energy or your gas and stuff coming down here if I can't actually be to sit down.
Hey, let me get your guys' phone numbers, and can I just call you when I'm in Jackson tomorrow?
Send me a text.
Okay, what's your number?
83.
Okay, and Katie, what's your number?
Just send me a text right now.
So they give her their numbers, their phone numbers. I don't think they've got anything to hide at all. Now things have calmed down. So this whole thing, started with her being, to me, it's the private investigator's job as a professional to calm things down from the outset. She started off being aggressive. So Chris got aggressive because that's his way. Katie was always calm all the way through it, personally, I think.
Your name, so I know. If not, I'll be like,
Yeah, okay, I will.
Yeah.
Ironically, they don't bark much. I just gave them a bone. I give them each a bone, and then one of them puts it down and barks at the other for the bone that the other one has.
All right, you both have my phone number now.
I think that's it now. I think it's finished. Yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to go through it and comment on it, but I'm going to be releasing the video just with no commentary, so some people prefer it that way. But I appreciate it if, you leave your comments at the end. That would be great. Leave your comments at the end of the video. What do you think? Were they right to be angry? Personally, I think they were right to be angry. I think it was good as it calmed down, as the private investigator calmed down. They calmed down a bit. Yes, Chris does use choice language, but you know what? They're only words. Just because someone uses choice language doesn't define the person they are. Sometimes I use choice language. Not as much as Chris, probably. But this day and age, people do use bad language, much more common than it used to be in my day. But they're just words. They are just words at the end of the day. You have to remember that. And just because someone doesn't use bad language doesn't mean they're a good person either. And someone who does use bad language doesn't mean they're a bad person. But yeah, sometimes the thing with Chris is he is his own worst enemy. That's how he strikes me. Because he says all these things and people say, like you did, Joanna, and I understand it completely. Oh, he's using all this bad language, and he used the term woman, didn't he? And these are not good looks, but I don't think that Chris, this is the other thing that makes me think about Chris, that I don't think he's guilty of anything, because he doesn't care what he looks like. Someone who has done something and wants people to believe him, trying to put on an act of being a certain way. Chris really doesn't care about that. He just is himself, and he swears if he feels like it. He says what he thinks. He's not trying to impress anyone or win anyone over. And personally, to me, that seems much more honest, because he just is himself. But anyway, that's the way. That's how he is, and there's nothing. People will make their own minds up about him and Katie. You know, as I say, I think he'd be more careful if he was guilty of anything. I think he'd be more careful how he came over to people. But I don't think Chris cares how he comes over to people because he knows he hasn't done anything wrong. So that's as far as it goes. Yeah, Mello. Yeah. Listen again. So, I mean, what sort of a private investigator is that? I think I'm going to become a private. I could do that easy, go and piss people off. I do that every day when I walk my dogs. I could be a private investigator if is that all it takes? Just go around, be horrible to people and piss them off. Anyway. Oh, good. I would love to interview Chris Proudfoot. I really would, because I'd like to interview him in a respectful way. And I think you see a different Chris Proudfoot then. I think Chris he reacts. You know, he's not perfect. He's a hothead. He's all those things. And he swears a lot. Do you know? But do you know what? That doesn't make him a murderer. I'm sure there's lots of murderers out there who don't swear at all. You know, they're going off charming people and being nice to people and then murdering them as soon as they get a chance. So, you know, to me, language, I know it's like you think, oh, my God, but language in this day and age, it is different from years ago. A lot of people use bad language. Even Donald Trump dropped the F-bomb, didn't he, a few days ago on national television. I'm just waiting for one of the royal family to do it, and then we'll, you know, you imagine. I'm sure they swear in private, but they probably, you know, it's so much more commonplace for people to swear nowadays. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, isn't it? But you know, so. Oh dear. Well, Joanna, I agree. He needs to show more respect, but you know what? He needs to be shown more respect as well, because I don't think that Chris has done anything, but people are accusing him of things. And you know, I suppose because I don't saying I agree with him getting so angry. I'm just saying I do understand it. I honestly, when I go. And it's like you don't see, you know, it's just rrr. And of course, Chris, don't forget as well, didn't know he was being recorded. Did not know he was being recorded. Now, I should have put that question up there. Do you think it's right to record someone without their knowledge? As if you're just having a normal conversation? I don't think that's right at all. I think that's terrible. If I thought that somebody would come, and especially a contentious conversation, you know, deliberately, that private investigator has gone over to the Proudfoots, knowing that she could wind Chris up just like that. Everyone knows Chris can be just wound up like that. And I think she deliberately tried to wind him up at first. But as it went on, I think you can see with that, is it Heather? That private investigator, she realised that actually maybe Seth was in the wrong, not them. And you could see that it calmed down. And I think you could interview Chris and he would be perfectly pleasant. But he lost it there because some private investigators turned up at his wife's house. He's miles away, working, you know. Anyway, that's how I feel. So, exactly, we all get angry, don't we? Don't we all get angry? And some of us get more angry than others. Depends what it is, doesn't it? You know, it's funny because sometimes someone can say something to me, it goes right over my head. I don't care. And then other times someone says something, and maybe it depends how you feel that day, or you're just feeling like shit anyway, and then somebody says something horrible, makes you feel even worse, and you just sort of get angry, don't you? And that's how I feel about Chris. I do think he gets angry too easy, and I do think he swears too much, but I don't think he's a murderer or anything like that. I don't think he's a bad person. I really don't. He's just him. And I think with Seth, he's never got over Katie leaving it. That's the impression. I'll try and remember to put the playlist up, because his interviews there and videos that I've done, Seth is still madly in love with Katie. He is still 100% madly in love with Katie. He's never got over the fact that Katie left him for Chris. And this bitterness comes through everything he says. He's dying to make her take the blame. Well, he should take the blame for being a deadbeat dad who abused both Katie and Sebastian. Started seeing Katie when she was 14 years old. He needs to take his things he's done wrong, like we all do. I'm not a perfect parent. You won't be a perfect parent if you are one. Katie's not a perfect parent. Chris is not a perfect parent, but neither is Seth. Why is Seth holier than thou when you look at his history? I think it may be, some saying again, you just don't know the truth because I'm not in it. But are his parents even still speaking to him? He seemed to piss off his own parents. I don't know. Thank you, Mello. This is quite a new one. I got this to go with these, and I want more, of course. I always want more necklaces and more earrings. I do love accessories. I do love accessories. That's my Achilles heel, isn't it? I might look like crap the rest of me, got like old t-shirt, old sandals, old shorts on. I've got my nice necklace and my nice earrings on. Accessories and makeup. I like makeup as well, but it just takes a long time now for it to get done up in the morning. I just look, do you know what? If I'm ever rich, I'll never be rich. Oh no, you're not supposed to say that. It's against the law of attraction, isn't it? If I am ever rich, or when I'm rich, I'm supposed to say that, aren't I? When I'm rich, I will have a makeup artist coming every morning to put my makeup on, because I can't be bothered. But I just can't be bothered in the morning. Sometimes I can. Sometimes I get up and I do, the full sort of makeup, and I enjoy it. It's just time. It's never enough time, is there? Anyway, I'm going because I've got to go and have some lunch. What day is it today? Wednesday. Maybe back tonight. Probably not, to be fair. But if anything, occurs, any of the cases that we've been following. But this particular case, it's a conundrum, isn't it? We're now nearly, it's a year and a half since Sebastian Rogers disappeared off the face of the earth. A year and a half, 18 months. It was February, not this year, but the year before. So very sad. And now his family, including Seth and Katie, they're facing another Christmas without him, So, it's hard for all of them, aren't they? But especially Katie, because that's who Seth was living with. If anyone who, not Seth, Sebastian, anyone who thinks, oh God, Katie was in charge of him and she should be responsible, well, no one will feel more responsible than Katie. I would imagine every morning when Katie wakes up, she thinks of how Sebastian disappeared from under her roof. Now, although I have no idea where Sebastian is. I mean, maybe we need to do something about that one day. What do people think happened to him? Where is this boy? He'd now be 16 years old, and he's not just like all the other missing ones. He hasn't been beamed up to a starship. Somebody either knows what's happened to him, or he's had an accident that's befallen him. But now the police have said to Katie, they don't, they've searched so many times, they're certain that he's nowhere in that area. So Oh, thank you, Joanne. Oh, yeah. Well, it'd be nice when it gets washed. I keep thinking what I need is I need a colour, a proper colour on it. I need a colour, a good cut. Oh, basically, I need a body, face, and hair transplant. That's what I need. And an age transplant, you know, I need to whiz back 40 years. But apart from that, I just do the best I can. But thank you, Joanne. That's very much appreciated. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. Don't forget to let me know. Well, first of all, don't forget to let me know this in comments. But also, don't forget to like, subscribe. Think about becoming a member. Maybe you want to buy me a Ko-fi. That's a big help to my channel. Or send a super sticker, etc. Those are all the ways that you can support my channel. But you know what? Thank you for watching, because that is the best way. Okay, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God, as always, go with you. Bye.